Not optimizing is just criminally underselling what you were doing in fucking Wind Waker. Optimization was a distant dream of mine. Look at the time.
What time is it? I don't have a watch.
Normally, we'd be entering people's earlobes. That's where people listen from, their earlobes.
I don't know what kind of world you live in, but continue.
I listen through my earlobes, and normally I listen to our pod, because of course I listen to our own pod, like a natural narcissist would. I would be listening to it on April 10th, but it's April 3rd.
Whoa.
What's going on?
That's interesting.
That's sort of weird.
That is sort of weird, especially because that's the future as far as I'm concerned right now.
I'm living in the present, which will be the future.
Which will be April 3rd.
Which will be April 3rd. So normally we're a twice monthly podcast, but, for whatever reason, not a ton of reasons, just kind of out of the blue, got a lot of free time right now.
Nothing particular going on that's
no,
increasing your amount of free time you have or anything like that.
Yeah, nothing pressing, nothing just keeping me inside the house.
No.
It's a good vibes podcast. We're only talking about the good stuff.
Good vibes only, bro. Get that negative shit out of here.
Get that negative pandemic out of my face.
I don't want to hear the P word. I don't want to hear either of the C words.
Chunky and cheese.
Chunky and cheese. But you can say Chuck E. Cheese. I will listen if you say that.
Okay, I know how to get your attention now.
Now you know.
I have a lot more time to edit this podcast now. So I'm just going to kind of boot the schedule up here. So maybe you'll get four episodes of Video Game Podtimism, the Optimist video game variety show where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming a month. Took a lot of that one.
Nicely done. That was beautiful.
Thanks. I'm Chase, and I have plenty of editing time now.
I'm David, and I'm admiring one Chase's mustache.
It's a work in progress.
It's there. It's on his upper lip only, which
it's sort of
defines it as a mustache.
It is the tent on the Tom Nook's island. It's like the step one of living on my face right now.
Ooh. Already getting deep into Animal Crossing references, huh?
It sort of just defined my life for the last couple of weeks, so I'm all up in there.
Animal Crossing or the mustache?
Good question.
What has been more life-defining? Besides the obvious.
I think the mustache has changed how people see me in the world. It's really just a consequence of my girlfriend, Emily Alice, being the only person who I see. So when I say people, I mean person, and she has a lot of effect on what the global, as I see it, population thinks about my mustache, because, again, I can only really talk to one person in person.
What are her feelings?
She seems to think I look like her dad, so it's not necessarily good.
I guess, and maybe, I mean, in some situations, good, in some situations, probably not so good, I would think.
Yeah, maybe, like, projecting the imagery of, like, paternal love may be good.
Exactly. Like when she needs some help, when she needs a good like shoulder to lean on.
Guess who's there? It's your dad. I mean your boyfriend.
It's your dad friend.
It's your dad friend. I'm here for you.
There you go.
Hey.
Let's get off this topic.
Says
Chase Albee.
I want to jump off this topic cliff that we're on right now. I'm ready to hurl my body into the another topic ocean right now. Let's drive over to what video games are we playing?
Okay, that sounds fair. Fair.
Hey, David.
Yes, Chase.
Have you been playing video games?
I've been playing so much video games.
I would wager that is the global answer for anybody who enjoys video games right now. Yes, I've been playing video games.
If you are a video game player, of any
Now's
sort.
your time.
Now is your time.
Now's your time.
If your answer to that question that Chase just asked me, are you playing video games right now, is not, I'm playing so much more than I normally do, you're not doing a good enough job for the world right now, okay? You gotta step it up. You gotta step up those are rookie numbers, buddy, okay? We need to get those up.
Or DM me, and I'll send you a video game that you haven't played yet. Because the answer is almost certainly that you don't have enough video games to play.
There you go. But I've been just up to my chin in Control.
Okay. Did you beat it yet? I haven't asked you that.
No. Okay. I'm dilly-dallying. I'm taking my time.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those games that like gets that little like bug in the back of my head that just tells me that I have to scour every single environment before I can leave. You know, because there's little hidden things everywhere.
And ones that they don't necessarily mark and tell you are like Easter eggs either. Like sometimes there will just be things in a room that you can observe and there's no video game metric to tell you, look, you discovered a thing. It's just like something you have to notice.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what I enjoy about the game. It really treats you like an adult.
Yep.
As compared to other games. Right, because it tells you how to do like the basic stuff.
Yep.
But then like the more advanced stuff, or like how to get to certain places, it just lets you figure out on your own, and like kind of getting that deeper essence of the game. It just lets you kind of suss out how to do that, which is nice. Very different than a lot of games nowadays, where it just feels like it's holding your hand the whole time, just leading you through. Whereas this one just kind of expects you to really take more agency of your gameplay, which is nice. Nice. Yeah.
Cool. What else?
Still been playing Mario. Oh, I never introduced myself.
Yeah, get up in there. Who the fuck are you?
I'm David, and you can call me a Moon Machine, because that's what I am when I play Mario. I get all them moons, baby. I get them all.
It's hard not to want to.
It's an obsession.
You've got two games that are really defining collecting everything right now for you.
It's obsessive. It truly is obsessive.
I mean, of all the times to just devote yourself entirely.
No, this is how I feel like these games need to be played, and I think this is just the perfect time to play them this way.
It's true. For you're flush with time.
I'm flush with time
and brain energy,
and so much big brain energy right now to spare for the most mundane things. But the thing about Mario is that it's kind of like the perfection of hand-holding in a way.
Yep.
Because it doesn't punish you hard for dying or anything like that. It's like 10 coins, that's it. You're at 10
Which
coins.
in the of the economy of the game, it's nothing.
It's pennies.
Yeah. You could throw your hat and catch 20.
Yeah, easily. And so that's nice that it like encourages you to explore and mess up in that way. In that there's like the punishment isn't harsh. Right? So that's been really fun. Just kind of another thing to explore and scour and collect everything.
Yeah.
So I've been collecting, I guess is what I've been doing.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. What about you? What have you been playing?
Just a couple hours of games here and there. Nothing big.
I know that's a dirty, rotten lie.
I've been playing every video game. I've played every video game. I finished video games. I did it. I'm done.
You got the Omega achievement. You've 100%ed every video game ever at this point.
Bill Gates came to my house and said, hey, nobody did it like you. Here's an achievement. And then he just sort of like touched me on the face and maintained eye contact. I didn't really know what to say, being like just the power dynamic between the two of us was a little offset.
I would be confused too, yeah.
Yeah, and then he like winked at me and then left. It was a weird...
What was the subtext of the wink?
Non-sexual.
So, like, was it friendly? Was it paternal? Was it...
It was suggesting that there's more to be found. And I don't really know what that meant.
Oh. Was he inviting you to the Illuminati?
If that's how they do it, that's pretty ineffective. I really didn't get the message if that's what he was trying to do.
You got to figure it out on your own, baby.
I guess so, but I have all these video games I could play instead.
You're like, I'm good, Bill. I have games to play still. Thank you.
Mr. Gates, the video games, they do call.
They do call. The sirens call.
Since the last time we talked, Doom was not out yet. and neither was Animal Crossing.
How have they been?
Doom came out. I have now beat Doom.
That was quick.
It's not a particularly long game, but it ain't short. Let's not beat around the bush. It's not a 5 to 10 hour game. It was. I definitely had to log some hours.
You got some time on your hands.
I have very much time on my hands. It was good. I enjoyed that game a lot. I was texting back and forth with our mutual friend Drew, who also was playing it, and like sort of walking through the game. Shout out Drew. We were both like texting back and forth like, oh shit, this thing just happened. Oh shit, that thing just happened. And like, it pretty much, I went back to look at the like text between us, and pretty much the whole game was just an oh shit sort of moment. It's all very entertaining and fast paced and crazy. The levels scale pretty well. Like it's pretty fun from one level to the next, and you're like, oh shit, that was the coolest thing ever. And then you go to the next one, you're like, oh, that was fucking cool too. Obviously, if you've read any of the reviews, very visceral, very intense, pretty fast paced, which is fun for me. I like this kind of games that are sort of edge of your seat the whole time. Specifically Doom, like this one and Doom 2016, they're very intense. So that's fun. I think I wasn't quite as shocked at how good it was compared to Doom 2016, because that one really came out of nowhere for me. Like the whole game was just like, what is this? Like,
yeah, because Doom was kind of pretty down and out when they did the reboot.
Yeah, the last major Doom game I had played was Doom 3 back in like 2005 or something. Like
I think that was the last one they had released. It had been like a long
There
time.
was some DLC for that one, but it wasn't significant. It wasn't like holy shit.
Wasn't that Xbox? Or was that Xbox 360?
It was originally launched, in 2004.
Ooh.
Which would be Xbox, I think.
Yeah, because I remember distinctly they talked about it on XPlay. And XPlay was very much like that generation of games.
It's true, yeah. The like PS2, Xbox. So yeah, it had been a very, very long time since they had put out a Doom game. I'm not sure if I've talked about this on the show before, but like Doom is like so near and dear to my heart.
Is it?
Yeah, no, hugely.
I had no idea.
Doom was like one of the first games I've ever played, like period.
Sure, got it.
I used to play, I would like sit on my dad's lap when he played it. We'd play Doom 2, Hell on Earth. And so like some of those levels are just like burned into my mind. It feels so strange to go back and play them. It's like I'm living a memory that I had like literally 30 years ago.
Wow.
So I have very fond memories of like a lot of the original Doom series, not as much with Doom 3 because it was like, to me, an okay game. It wasn't perfect.
They went much more with the horror aspect in Doom 3.
Yeah, for sure. Which, that's an experiment. Like, for sure, try and run it. But they definitely left behind the fun of the other Dooms, which is pretty fast-paced intensity.
They left behind the fun. That's never
the fun of those games. It was fun in another way, but not quite in the same way.
Yeah, different, very different.
Whenever one of these games comes out, I'm always like kind of waiting on bated breath. Like, oh man, I hope this one's good. Like, I hope this is the next iteration of the thing I love so much. And so I was genuinely pretty surprised when 2016 was as good as it was. And so this one, while also very good, I was like kind of holding it to that standard. And so I was like, well, yeah, it was just about as good as the other one. And so like not earth shattering, but still very fun. I liked it a lot.
That's how I felt about the new Wolfensteins.
Yep.
Same thing. Where it's just like, did not expect this first new iteration to be that good, and then it was, and then the second one was like, yeah,
it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah,
solid. Yeah, interesting that those kind of classic shooters have been rebooted successfully. It's nice to see.
Yeah, I think it is the success of somebody who's pushing, or some folks who are pushing a game design idea really hard. They bottled what was fun about the first Doom, and they said, okay, let's do this, and then build the rest of the game around it.
Yeah, they bottled it, and then they cooked it down to concentrate it, and then just made a whole game of that, it seems.
And yeah, it was great. I liked that one a lot.
Well done.
The other game I've been playing, like what seems to be most of Twitter at this point, is Animal Crossing New Horizons.
There you go.
This game good, baby. This is good.
So as someone who's never gotten into Animal Crossing, can you just give me your elevator pitch? You're trying to get a job at my company, and you are Mr. Animal Crossing. What's going to sell you to me?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, what is it?
Do you have a moment?
I guess, sure.
Have you played Final Fantasy X before?
I have, yes.
Have you played Kingdom Hearts before?
I have, yes.
Do you know how those games rely mostly on their vibes?
I've had a conversation about this before, yes.
Have I got a game for you?
Ooh, all right. You got me. What kind of vibe is it?
It is a golden retriever with sunglasses on.
You are hired immediately.
Animal Crossing is a game where there's really no point. There's not something you're really chasing. Like, you don't have to build up an island to a certain metric. That's not there. There's not some mission counter that you have. The point is to just sort of exist on this island, and you can do upgrades to certain things, like your house or the island itself. You can get new people on your island. You can pay off your loans to Tom Nook, who the internet seems to not like. I think Tom Nook is a good guy. I'm gonna go on record here.
All right.
He gives you a loan or an interest-free loan.
Whoa.
Which is pretty rare. He just says, yeah, pay it back whenever. You're here. I'm here. I'll see ya.
That's pretty sweet, actually.
And in the meantime, he teaches you how to build a shovel.
That's a good dude. Interest-free
That's a
loan.
pretty good raccoon, man.
Damn.
I've seen people talk about this online, and some of the criticisms levied against any Animal Crossing game is that they're pointless, which is true. They are pointless. It is your ability to accept that pointlessness that is your ability to enjoy the game. If you cannot accept that there is no point to this and that there is no like mission, you will enjoy the game. If you can't accept that or don't want to, then it's not going to be a fun game for you. And no shade on either one of those. Like, I oftentimes will put the game down and be like, did I just do anything? But then the very next morning I'll pick it up and be like, oh man, I gotta catch some fucking fish, dude.
So what's the point of catching fish? What does that get you?
If you catch fish, you can do 3 things with it. One, you can display it. You can either put it in your house or just on the island somewhere if it's a really cool fish. You can give it to my main man, Blathers, the owl, who owns a museum in town, and he needs you to collect one of everything. Period.
Why is he your main man?
I got a lot of respect for Blathers.
Why? What about Blathers makes you respect him?
He's an owl. That's cool.
I'm down with that. That's my undergraduate mascot.
Yeah, big time. It's cool. Owls are cool. He's always asleep during the day, and so whenever you walk into his museum, he's like asleep, and you have to wake him up, which is funny. That's a funny gag every time.
It's funny. It's funny stuff.
He's awake at nighttime, which, it's the other side of the gag. That's funny. He hates insects, which is just delightful. Whenever you bring him an insect to put in the museum, he's like, oh, fuck, man. A fucking praying mantis? Ew. I don't like this. And but he's building a museum. He's got to take that shit. He doesn't have it.
He's got to take it.
And you can force him to tell you about that thing because he does know a lot about it. And so that's
so he's
also
a docent
delightful
as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, double duty.
And I just feel compelled to give him everything, to give him one of everything, because he doesn't want 2. He just wants 1 of everything. So I like that. The third thing you can do with fish is sell them. And by selling them, you will get bells, which are like Animal Crossing's version of $1.
Ooh, I'm going to be jingling when I roll down the street.
For all of our international listeners, that is a euro. That's the only other currency there is.
Yeah, I feel like we've had Brazilian and Australian listeners too, Chase Albee.
Yes.
Got nothing. You got nothing.
We have reached the limit of my knowledge.
It's fair.
I have a lot of Animal Crossing knowledge and not so much about currencies of the world.
It's fair. That's fair. Continue.
So yeah, you can sell your fish, but a big part of the game is running into rare things. And so you definitely want to catch one of every fish, right? And they come in season. So we're almost at the end of March here. There are fish that will not be back until next March. You want to get those fish.
Wait, really? It actually depends on the actual month?
I guess something to note if you haven't played Animal Crossing before is that the game runs in real time. In my game right now, it is 8:05 p.m. on Monday the 30th of March. And
wow.
you can't progress days in the game without progressing days in real life. So if your house is under construction and Tom Nook says it's going to take until tomorrow, he means until tomorrow, not like you have to go sleep at your house until the game says it's tomorrow now.
Interesting.
And so, have you played Stardew Valley?
No, I haven't.
For you and for the people who haven't played it, there is a weird sense of like optimization, fetishization that happens where it's like, I need to get as good as I can at farming as fast as I can.
AKA like, Chase Albee's wet dream, truly.
Sort of. It leads to a certain amount of stress eventually that like I'm not doing this good enough. Animal Crossing says, shh, no, no. There's nothing left to do today. You don't have to do that today. Just go catch a fish.
So it calms you down too.
It calms you down. It's
interesting.
It is therapeutic and meditative.
Comforting.
Yeah.
Reassuring.
Vibey, baby.
Vibey. It's like if you're walking down the street and you see a golden retriever with sunglasses on.
That's Animal Crossing.
It's Animal Crossing.
This will lead me directly into my Podtimistic thing of the week, which is a video that was uploaded to Twitter by, I believe her screen name on Twitter is Havana Rama or Havana Rama, depending on however you want to say that. She is a gamer and what seems to be a GM and role player. She's a core gamer, is what I'm getting at here.
Okay. You're saying it in my terms now. Thank you.
She recorded a clip, I think it was on Twitch or something like that, where she was looking to catch a sturgeon, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And she did it. The preceding about minute and a half is it is a dense dose of Podtimism.
Yeah, Chase sent me this video and it's intense to say the least. It's like mainlining Podtimism.
She catches the sturgeon, I think is what it is, and just shouts about it in positive affirmations that really get me going. I've watched this video probably like 20 times at this point. It's so good every single time.
Manifest your truth, baby.
Manifest your truth is what I think I need to live by now.
I think you've already been living by it, but now you have your mantra.
She's given it a name. So thank you, Havana Rama, for that. You have or Havana Rama. I don't know which one it is, but thank you. It was
you say a Rama, I say a Rama.
Yeah, totally crushed it. You are absolutely manifesting your truth. Holy shit, that clip was great.
There you go. That's beautiful. It's our first Podtimistic shout out.
That's true.
What a time to be alive.
It was just so dense. I had to mention it.
Yeah. My Podtimistic thing is when video games give you a new way to kind of move around the environment.
I've got a feeling I know what you're talking about.
I love it. Where it's just like halfway through the game, you just get a new ability or a new tool or something, and you can like reach that far away spot you saw in the beginning, and now you can get up there. Ooh, feels so good to get up there and see what's inside. Oh my goodness.
I've been looking at that cliff all game, and I can't jump up there.
Yeah.
But now I can, now that I have a double jump or something.
Or like how it changes combat too. Like, ooh, now I can levitate in midair and then throw things at people. Sign me up, baby.
It's very Metroidvania.
It's very Metroidvania. This is like probably the third or fourth game that I've compared Control to. But yeah. It's feeling a little Metroidvania-y to me now because now I'm going back and exploring all these different spots that I couldn't get to before with this levitate ability that I just got.
It's a tried and true and tested way to make me feel good about the ability that they gave me.
Yeah, just like, this is a really useful skill. I did a good thing.
Look at me being able to hover up here.
I'm hovering now, baby.
They did it good in that game. I remember Hollow Knight having some of that.
Ooh, Hollow Knight had some of the best. My goodness. God,
the game is just so goddamn good.
That's a top god tier level game, honestly.
If you have a Switch, buy Hollow Knight. It's pretty cheap.
You do yourself a favor, please. Let's just play through it.
Do you want to move on to our main thing?
Yeah. Hit it, boys.
Caught me off guard there.
Yeah, you didn't know that I'm the band director now, Chase. Please.
Yeah, the band sputtered and it had to kick it into high gear real fast.
Even though you know so much more than I do about genres of music.
You were in band, though.
I was in band, yeah. But you know what DIY punk is, and I'm just like... It just sounds like you're making things up at that point to me.
You went back and listened to the last episode and you're like, he's fucking lying. He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. That's not a thing.
This is bullshit. This is bullshit. You just made me look like an ass in front of everybody. Don't know what DIY punk is. Look like a goddamn square. In front of our 30 listeners now. God damn.
All 30 of them are
My
going to
life
think
is
I'm a
ruined.
dweeb.
Ruined.
Here we are in Good Games. It's the segment where we talk about the okayest games of yesteryear and gush about the things that we love about them. To just put them on our shoulders for a little while. And
Piggyback?
maybe a piggyback. We give them a piggyback for a little while. Make everybody feel good about these video games.
But yeah, today we're doing a blasty from the pasty like we always do. But not as far in the pasty as we usually go.
Yeah, we took the time machine and set it to just a little bit more recently than we normally do it.
Mm-hmm. The beginning of the previous decade.
We took the time machine, set it back just about 10 years to May 14th of 2010 when Alan Wake came out.
Alan Wake.
Alan Wake was a game that was put out by Remedy Games, which was, they also put out Control recently. You may have noticed us talking about that video game recently.
Mm-hmm. Excellent game. Did they do Max Payne?
They did. I've got a list here. They made Control. They made Quantum Break, which was a game that came out in 2016.
Oh, shit. Was that a first-person shooter?
No, it was like...
Oh, that was like an Xbox exclusive game, wasn't it?
I believe that's the case, yeah.
And it was supposed to be like a TV show and a game?
Yeah, it was the pitch for it. I remember being a little bit odd. I never played it, which I think seemed to be the case for a lot of people. It didn't have a ton of fanfare.
Yeah.
So they made that one. They also made, like you said, Max Payne way back in the day. And they also made a game called Death Rally, which was like a top-down car combat racer.
Huh. It's like a Twisted Metal, kind of.
A little less open world. Like there was still a race to be done. Mm-hmm. It was interesting looking. It was definitely like a first game look to it.
Sure.
But I think Max Payne was the second game, and if I remember correctly, like they put out one other Max Payne and then put out Alan Wake. It wasn't super far into their development career that they made this game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just a little other quick stat. I did find a review from Absolute Games from Russia.
Oh boy, here we go.
They said, Remedy employees love to compare their creation with television hits like Heroes and Lost, a very, very relevant comparison.
Man, those shout-outs.
But if you look at the gameplay through the prism, it will become clear that Alan Wake is not the first season, rather an unbearably long pilot who shot ammunition long before the third act. I don't know what that means. Captions predict Wake's new wanderings in the dark. 2 mini editions are already pulling their paws to their wallets, which means it's time to change the situation and expand the scope. On obsessed milkmaids, fosterers, and tractor drivers, you will not go far. 7 out of 10. I assume that has to be like a Russian mannerism or something.
Why are these always 7 out of 10?
I think the algorithm that is pulling in the scores is maybe not the best, and maybe they have to make assumptions about what the game was like rated or something.
Sure.
But Absolute Games, I disagree with your assessment of this game.
I don't remember any milkmaids.
I don't remember any milkmaids. Again, I think that is a euphemism or not a euphemism, but a mannerism that didn't translate so well.
Maybe we just missed them. Who knows?
We could have missed an entire part of the game. Speaking of which, do you want to summarize like how this game plays and what it is exactly?
Yeah, so you are Alan Wake. He is a writer. He is going to a remote forest and lake town in Washington State because he has writer's block. He's trying to figure out how to make his next big hit. And he gets there and things get weird real quick. Remember like the first part of the game, you're like in a diner, aren't you?
Yeah. Yep.
And you go into the bathroom and there's like weird stuff going on in the bathroom. Not like weird stuff, you know, but like weird kind of spooky stuff, right?
It starts to break bad pretty quick. Like it's clear that something is strange about this place or this town or maybe Alan Wake himself.
Yeah, it's kind of a spooky game. And then all of a sudden you start realizing that the town and the area in general is just kind of getting taken over by some sort of dark presence, I think is what they call it.
Yeah, it's in the beginning of the game. It's pretty unclear what exactly you're fighting against.
Yeah, but it's like dark shadows will take over people and manifest themselves as like humanoid things that will come and attack you.
Right.
and you have to use your flashlight to great effect, right? So you have to point your flashlight at these creatures that come to attack you, and then they'll eventually, the darkness will subside a little bit, so then you can shoot them then, the good old American way. And then his wife is involved. His wife's, is she taken? Is she like missing? Right?
Yeah, I think she gets kidnapped by some darkness, and I can't exactly remember the specifics of it, but she gets taken, and I think the main thrust of the game is you just trying to get her back, essentially.
Alice. That was her name, wasn't it?
It sure was.
There we go.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the main pitch of the game. The story definitely takes like twists and turns throughout it, but I don't want to. There's a world where some people haven't played Alan Wake, and I think the story is kind of a fun part of that game, so I don't want to just like totally ruin it.
Sure, but it's also been a decade.
It's been a decade for sure, but maybe our listeners didn't catch it the first time around. They want to go play it.
Okay, you're much nicer than me, but yes, we will do this. We will be kind to our listeners.
We are Podtimists, David. We got to be nice.
This is true.
So things about the game that are great. Or hold on, backing up. I think the criticisms that were levied against it at the time were the controls are a little wonky. It was split up into like episodes, so the structure of it was kind of weird. I think people just didn't find it super entertaining as a whole. But I don't necessarily agree with a lot of that. And I think there's cool things about it that are worth remembering. The first of which I think comes through on every single one of Remedy's games is the concept is really interesting and unique.
Definitely.
Like the idea for the game, the setup of it, just the design of the world is all very specific and unique, and it feels like a Remedy game, which is just really cool. Like I don't know a lot of studios that I'm like, I can definitely pick out of a group which games are made by a certain group of people. This and Control and Max Payne, like all of them have like a tone that they just like nail every time, and it makes the world feel really like lived in and interesting and cool.
They're great at world building.
Yeah, for sure. Whoever
Really
they've got
good at
in there that is doing the like world building or writing or whatever it is just nailing it.
Definitely, I agree 100% on that.
I think the second thing that I would want to point out pretty clearly is the combat. It's interesting, like having to like weaken your enemies in a certain sense before you can really get access to them, and your avenue to that literally being like shining light on them is interesting. Luigi's Mansion is the only other game that comes to mind.
That was the only thing I could think about. Only other comparison was Luigi's Mansion, right, where you just had to like keep a beam on them essentially, right, and then weaken them to take them down. Yeah, which
is a pretty cool place to draw inspiration from when you're making like a serious and almost horror game, you know?
I would say it's definitely horror. It's like action horror, but it's horror.
Yeah, it's spooky. It's a spooky game.
Spooky. They got the spooks in them over at Remedy. They got the spooks in them.
Yeah, they know how to do tone real good. Know how to get you unsettled. What about you? Do you have anything other than those two?
The flashlight just felt really good. It felt solid.
Yeah, it controlled pretty well.
Yeah, like the aiming of the flashlight felt good, and it just felt like when you got a connection with a enemy, just felt like it was hidden good. I don't know what in the game design world that correlates to. It's like a feeling of like weightiness to the light. Yeah,
I'm sure they worked on that for a long time, and I'm sure it's just a combination of like how much the controller vibrates when you like break their like shield, essentially, the sound of it when you're hitting them. I remember there was like a little circle that would appear around them and slowly close. And at the point where it was closed, that's when they were like vulnerable. And so, yeah, they tuned that mechanic very well. It feels incredible to do that. And again, like that's not something that game designers always do. Like literally that specific mechanic, right? You can play 100 games and have 100 different jumps, and most of them kind of feel like Mario, but you don't have a lot of games where you're shining a flashlight on some bad guys and then it goes down and you break their shield and you have to shoot them then. Like, it's something that doesn't necessarily have written rules about how they should or shouldn't feel, but they managed to do it really well.
Totally. Yeah. So the flashlight was really great. The story was engrossing and engaging, and Alan Wake himself was like a memorable character in a way.
Yeah, I think so. He was pretty standard white dude, but like the characterization of him over the course of the game I thought was interesting, and like not to be too spoiler, but like a lot of the enemies you're fighting are like part of Alan. And so it was interesting to sort of see that represented, especially in a time where like mental health in video games was not particularly something that had been like explored very much.
No, it's a hot topic nowadays, but
yeah, no, plenty of people are doing good work around that. But at the time, it was sort of not really explored very much, and so it was cool to see a game studio doing that. I don't remember if this game may have been absolutely problematic in the way it was displaying maybe people with mental health issues, but at the very least, they were talking about it, right? Like
it's true.
They were introducing the subject matter.
It was something. They got a pat on the back for trying award.
Yeah, I was also going to agree and say that the story was interesting. That it was pretty engrossing, and I wanted to see what happens at the end of it.
Yeah, but then you don't get to see what happens ever.
Yeah, they kind of split it up a little bit. It does not end particularly well.
No, it ends cliffhangery, and they never got a sequel.
Got some DLC, but yes, you're right. It didn't get a sequel. It didn't get a full like, here is the end of the story and we're done.
Yeah, so that was a bummer, but overall, solid game, very original. Nothing else really like it ever since either.
Yeah,
at least core gameplay wise. But yeah, good game.
Good game.
What could it have done better, Chase Albee?
I think that splitting it up into episodes and not finishing it in the way that they did, like leaving it on such a cliffhanger, was a bummer. I would have wanted them to finish that, but I also totally understand that was likely them being like, hey, we need to fucking finish this game for God's sakes. Like, we need to get this out the goddamn door.
Yeah.
Tie this thing up a little bit. And so I bet that was probably like a decision born of financial thoughts rather than like it was their artistic vision to split it up into 2 different games.
Sure. Okay, I see what you're saying.
I get the reasoning, but that would have been cool to have it be one concise package. I always love when video games do that. It's fairly rare in games to have a standalone single game. Usually you get a couple and like of varying qualities, so it would have been really cool to have just the one and have that be the full experience.
Agreed. Yeah, it would have been nice to just be like, oh, I played through Alan Wake, and now I can wait for the next thing from this studio, as opposed to just constantly feeling like it's unfinished.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't know if I'm a huge fan of their graphics engine.
Interesting. Yeah.
I feel like they like to play a lot with light, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know if it's my TV, if this is like a Game of Thrones situation where my TV just isn't good enough, according to whoever made it. If my blacks aren't black enough, they're not dark enough or whatever.
Colors aren't vibrant and spilling over your television.
Yeah. But it just like, I remember I had like eye strain looking at the game because I was just like trying to figure out what I was looking at sometimes.
There's not a game I play where I don't think I should turn the brightness up on this thing.
It's true.
They always do that slider where it's like, turn it down to where you can barely see the thing.
You can't see the thing on the left. You can barely see the thing in the middle, and you can clearly see the thing on the right.
Nah, crank that. I want to see every one of those images, because every time that I do it on the one where I can barely see it, I get into the game and I'm like, oh, somebody just stabbed me out of the darkness. I wasn't able to see them.
I couldn't see nothing. Yeah, there's something's got to change with video game brightness settings. Something has to become uniform. I don't know what, but
I'm assuming they're probably just testing on really nice TVs.
Very fair. Maybe I just need a better TV.
I mean, no. Like, you should be able to play it on any TV.
It's true.
It should be fine.
Maybe it's just me making an excuse to get a new TV.
Hey, if that's what you want to do, David, you can't play video games like you need to on this old busted television.
It's busted.
You might as well be playing on a nasty old CRT, trying to get good graphics out of it.
Oh my god, I can't go back. I couldn't even hook up my new systems to a CRTV, could I?
You could get some, and you could there is a centipede-like amount of adapters you could get that would get a new console to an old TV, but it would be shitty.
A centipede-like amount of adapters.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Alan Wake?
It was good. I really enjoyed it. I still remember it to this day. It was left an impression on me. It was original. It was interesting. It had a unique combat system that felt good for the most part. The controls were a little wonky. The aiming wasn't great. But overall, a very solid game that is worth anybody's time.
There you go. That's a pretty good summarization, to be honest.
There you go.
Okay, let's move on to our next thing. We thought it might be a good idea, being that everybody's inside, and I've seen a lot of people saying like, oh, I hang out with like this one person. Like they choose their buddy for the quarantine, and they hang out with them. Do you
have your buddy?
Nobody swims alone. I'm sure some people are absolutely quarantined, and that sounds incredibly difficult. However, we are going to talk about some quarantine etiquette for you and your partner, or your buddy, or your best friend, or your cat that you are attaching a controller to attempt to play a video game.
Yes, quarantine video game co-op etiquette, we should say.
That's true. We got two things we got to do.
Yeah.
One is for the people who are living with folks, which is to run down the best couch co-op video games.
Okay.
And the other is to talk about online video game etiquette and a la the most and least disrespectful things you can do to other folks on the internet in case you're just strictly online gaming.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds fair.
So let's hit that couch co-op.
Okay.
This used to be quite much more of a thing than it used to be.
It's sad it's not a thing anymore. It really makes me depressed that they're just making me buy 2 systems and 2 games to play something.
It's a little bit more common than it was like kind of around the middle of the decade, but still, like it's not a game design that is particularly valued right now.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yep.
But there are some good torchbearers of the genre.
Yep.
First one that comes to mind for me is Overcooked.
It's Overcooked. No, yeah, that's I think the top tier couch co-op right now, and specifically for maybe folks in your life that don't play video games all the time. Mm-hmm. It's fairly easy to get a hold of, like to get your arms around. Like there aren't too many buttons, and the concept of the game is pretty simple. Of just like, we got to cook this fucking cheeseburger, dog. That's what we got to do. You got the lettuce.
That's all we doing. We got to cook as many cheeseburgers as we can. Some with cheese, some without cheese, some with tomatoes, some without tomatoes. You just got to look at the orders.
And so I think that one's a clear contender for like the most entertaining right now. Plus it's on Switch, so fucking get it. It's probably pretty cheap.
I think it's always going on sale too. So, And there's 1 and 2, and they all have DLC as well.
It's true.
Which is pretty sweet. That's definitely one of Mallory and I's favorite games to play together. It's one of the few games that she actually is like down to play, which is nice. Right. So how about let's go through this game by game. What are some of the most respectful and some of the most disrespectful things you can do in Overcooked in particular?
That's a good question. There's a lot in Overcooked, I feel like.
There is. There definitely is.
Especially in the second one, because you can like yeet ingredients to each other.
You can just yeet them across the gamescape.
And sometimes that's like a good thing, because you can get stuff to people faster. But if your partner or your buddy is particularly pissed, you just start throwing shit off the fucking map. Easily. You can say, I'm done with this. You're playing like ass, and just start throwing things everywhere.
I think maybe one of the most disrespectful things you can do in that game is to catch something that they threw to you and then just throw it off the map.
That's quite disrespectful, yeah.
It's like, why are you even giving me this? Yeet.
I don't need this right now. What are you doing?
I don't need this. Yeah. Or something else you could do is just like, while they're trying to like plate something or grab something that's about to burn, just like continuously like run into them, like charge into them, because there's a little boost you can do to make yourself go quicker. And then if you hit somebody, it'll make them move.
This has been a problem for Em and I.
Has it been?
Pretty frequently, Em will need to get to the other side of the map, and willingly or unwillingly will dash directly into me, and the game punishes you for that. It slows you both down a lot.
It does, yeah.
For a little while. Like, it would have been faster to just run by each other, but it's like kind of a prisoner's dilemma. If both of you dash, you're fucked. But if both of you run, you're okay. But if one of you dashes, it still punishes both. So it's not good. It doesn't feel great.
I get it. I definitely am dashing all over the place, and Mallory doesn't dash nearly as much, and I definitely knock her off quite a bit.
Oh, see, it's reversed. I'm usually trying. I know that M is hot and like trying to get to the other side, and I kind of try and get out of her way, but it doesn't always work.
No, I'm a bull. I just go through. Like, get out of my way. I gotta deliver this movie.
Most respectful thing you can do in that game. The nicest thing you can do in Overcooked.
In my experience playing the game, the best way to do it is to like be like, okay, you do this and that, and I'll do this and this. Right?
You need a calm, cool hand for that game.
You do. You really test your communication skills. But what I find is the most respectful thing you can do is that if you see the other person is busy and something is about to like burn.
Yeah, you just go do it. You figure it out.
You just go do it. You take it off for them. You should be like, okay, I took it off for you. It's fine. That's like true. That's the most respectful thing you can do. Like if they're in charge of like cooking the hamburgers and plating them, and they're off plating something, like delivering it to the customer, and you see that one of their hamburgers is about to burn, just take it off. You're just chopping onions. You already got 3 onions on blast, all ready to go. So just take the burger off.
And after that, you will be closer as a partnership because your partner will absolutely give you credit and say, "Thank you for helping me do that."
Yeah, acts of service.
Acts of fucking service.
That's a love language right there.
That's a love language.
All you youngsters out there.
And then once you're done, you say, "I love you. You did a great job making that pizza."
You do say that.
That's words of affirmation.
Yes.
And then once you're done with that, you stare into each other's eyes for a little while and not do anything else. That's quality time, baby.
And then you go into the kitchen and you make them a pizza and then you bring it to them. That's gift giving, baby.
That's a gift. This pizza's for you.
This pizza's for you. We made a virtual pizza together, but this one's for you.
I'm making a real one, and it's only for you. I'm not even going to beg for a piece. It's yours. And then you hold hands.
Ooh.
And then that's physical touch.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get too grim for the youngsters out there, as you say.
Too grim?
Yeah, I didn't want to really go into how you're gonna turn the game off.
But
turn the lights down.
Why is that grim?
It's gruesome. I don't want to describe it for everybody.
How is that gruesome? That's a beautiful thing, Chase Albee.
Love making ain't never pretty, baby.
I don't know how you're doing it, but that's not my experience.
The second couch co-op game that comes to mind immediately.
Yes.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
It's Portal. Specifically, Portal 2.
Portal 2, bro. Oh my God. I played that with Jahan. Shout out Jahan.
I think I was there. I think I watched you guys do this.
You might. I think like he came over to my place first and we were just playing through it. And then you came over too after, like while we were already in it. You're just like, just do it. I'll just watch.
Yeah.
Man.
It's good stuff.
That's maybe one that I could do with Mallory. Because there's not like a lot of like quick actions you have to do. Except sometimes you do. Sometimes you got to be like really quick. But other times you're just like, okay, I'm just going to place it here and there and then we're going to do it. It's just like thinking.
Yep. The co-op in that game was good because if I remember correctly, it was an entirely different campaign than the single player.
Yeah, totally different. You don't even play as the main character. You play as like 2 robots.
Right. And so like it's a unique experience on its own. It really designs the game around 2 people. Like you could not do the same puzzles with one person. And so that's a really, really fun part about it.
Yeah.
The most disrespectful thing in Portal 2, I think there is a level of like actively saying fuck this and trying to screw your partner over, your co-op buddy.
I played it with Jahan, so I am actively aware of all of these.
You're well acquainted with how you can be fucked over. Yeah, just like the answer to the puzzle, and yet they are shooting the portal at the exact wrong place.
So yeah, you can kill your partner in a lot of different ways in that game. What would be the most disrespectful way to kill them in that game or to fuck them over in that game?
I think you make them think that you know what to do and you are doing it, and then at the last second you pull the rug out from under them and force you to do the entire puzzle again.
My blood's already boiling. You got it, Chase. Okay, moving on. Most respectful thing you can do.
There are certain portions of that game where one person's part of the puzzle is clearly better than the other one. Oh, you got the fun part of the puzzle on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most respectful thing is just going along with it and being like, yep, my time will come.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey,
agreed.
I'll get mine.
That's a good one. I'd say that also a very respectful thing to do would be to like going out of your way to save the other person.
Yep.
If you see they're about to die or like falling somewhere, just shoot a portal and shoot a portal somewhere else and they'll come back out.
Save 'em.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. I think the Mario 3D Land that came out for the Wii U was a pretty good co-op one.
Oh my god, if they do Mario 3D Land remaster for Switch,
yeah,
I'm gonna buy that shit so quick, bro.
Yeah, it's coming. That
is one of the most underrated Mario games of all time.
It was criminally underplayed
because no one had a Wii U.
Correct.
It was so fucking good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And 3D World on the 3DS.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 3D World slaps. That game is great.
Oh my god, dude, that was a fucking slapper. People sleep on that shit so hard. I'm passionate about this. Apparently, I'm really passionate about this.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Man, that was a good game.
It was quality stuff. 3D World for Wii U is a very good couch co-op game. I think I played that one with you, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because I had it on my Wii U. And I definitely had people come over and play it with me because you could play 4 people at the same time. It's great.
Yeah, it was great. It was definitely a fun time, and like you can just like fuck with all your like co-op partners in a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely lended itself to fuckery, to disrespect.
You could definitely like jump on people's heads and let them die. And in that game, you had a finite number of lives too. So it was kind of a big deal if you killed somebody.
There was a risk. You were sacrificing like resources.
You were definitely sacrificing resources for the lols, as they say.
Yep. So disrespectful things abound. You can do a lot of shit there.
Mm-hmm.
Respectful things, I think being the rock of that game. Collecting all the coins, getting as many new, like lives as you can, because inevitably there is going to be someone who is not as good on your team.
It's true.
Soaking up a lot of lives. But if you can just, without asking, being like, I'm going to go do this for the team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I will say, that was not me very often. I was usually bitching and moaning and saying I wanted credit for getting all these goddamn lives.
You did. You always let us know.
Yeah. Yep.
Respectful thing you could do would be to recognize that someone else is maybe not as good at the game and then just going out of your way to helping them get through a level or a spot that's really difficult. Because you could you could lift people up, couldn't you? Like grab somebody.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you can carry people because we used to throw each other off the levels. Another co-op game. There are numerous significant amounts of shooters that I think would lend themselves very well. Couch co-op.
I mean, if you want to really go classic, Halo.
Yeah, that's the first one that I thought of.
What other couch co-op shooters have you really played through since Halo?
Modern Warfare.
Yeah, like maybe some of the COD games, but other than that, but like none of them were as memorable as Halo, though, right?
Certainly not. No.
You know, like
no.
There's something about Halo that just resonates.
It's fun. I mean, it's a phenomenal game on its own, and so like playing it with 2 people just lends itself well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, plenty of things you can do to disrespect each other. We don't need to name names.
But what about for the more unexperienced listener? What is something that you could do that is disrespectful in that game, Chase?
You can crouch, okay? Do I need to be grim? Do I need to be gruesome?
Why is it gruesome? Explicit, maybe.
Gruesome? It's a filthy action you're taking.
A filthy action. Can you describe it to me?
You crouch and you uncrouch.
Where?
I mean, on someone's body.
Where on their body?
I'm not getting into this. I'm not getting into this right now.
Is it over their face, maybe?
I'm not going to describe this to the listeners. They're young, pure, and they don't need this right now, this dire time.
Are you sure they're young?
I'm not going to do this, David.
It's called teabagging, kids.
It's called teabagging. It's called teabagging. It's gruesome.
It's called teabagging. It's a gruesome thing. Per Chase Albee. Gruesome.
The most respectful thing in Halo.
The most respectful thing in Halo, I think, would just be 2 players not fucking each other over through a whole playthrough of the game.
Nearly impossible.
Nearly impossible.
They say none. It's never been done.
I would not be surprised if it's never been done, to be honest.
Just a straight through shot of Halo without any sort of fuckery. No accidental sticky grenades or taking the good ammo or the good gun.
I mean, honestly, like when you get into that Scorpion tank and you see your buddy on the other end of the street, you gotta give him a little shot.
You gotta give him a warning shot.
You gotta get at least a warning shot. At least.
Yeah, maybe you kill your best friend. Maybe that's what you do today.
It brings people closer together, Chase. Okay?
Sort of.
Sort of?
I mean, it literally respawns you next to them, so I guess kind of, yeah.
Is it gruesome, Chase Albee?
Shooting your teammates a little bit less gruesome.
Where's
just blowing somebody up.
Where's it ring on the gruesome
life.
meter?
That's murder on the gruesome meter. Which is still below teabagging.
It's very surprising. Wow.
It's very disrespectful.
More disrespectful than murder, okay.
In the Halo world, a lot of murder going around. A lot of killing to be done.
I understand that.
You can get through the game without teabagging anybody.
This is a true story. You could.
Gotta kill. Master Chief gotta kill.
But if you didn't, did you actually play Halo?
Credits roll, baby. Master Chief is done. John said, I just killed thousands of aliens. I'm done. No teabags.
And I didn't teabag a single one.
Let's end with something that you and I are fairly familiar with, which is playing a quote-unquote couch co-op game where it's a single-player game where one person just plays through it.
I can't reach that brick.
Played through it in The Walking Dead.
Uh-huh.
You and I have, we've done a lot over the years, but the most recent ones are Walking Dead. We did Wind Waker when we were still living in the same city.
Oh my goodness. That was
a trial.
If only we did a podcast back then.
Christ alive, man.
We would have been millionaires by this point.
I mean, we can do it again. We just have to pick another Zelda game.
You don't want to do it again. I can hear the trepidation in your voice.
It's so many hours. It's so long.
And then you have to just suffer so much.
Twice.
Watching me play.
I would have to watch you play and then edit our discussion about that. I would have to experience it twice.
This is true. You would. You'd have to live through it again. Your nightmare. Someone not optimizing their playthrough. Chase Albee's nightmare.
Not optimizing is just criminally underselling what you were doing in fucking Wind Waker. Optimization was a distant dream of mine when we were playing Wind Waker.
What was I doing when I was playing Wind Waker then, huh?
Almost anything that was antithetical to beating the game. Jumping off of cliffs, hitting children, picking shit up that just didn't...
I hit children?
You would go to the towns and just like, like run into them and dash into the kids and like try and hit them. And you're like, oh, I accidentally talked to him. Hold on, I got to back out and then hit him again.
In my
jump
defense,
on these kids.
I was also a kid in the game. Everybody, okay?
Everybody,
so it's
chill.
legal. It's legal, okay?
A couch co-op thing you can do with your friends is to play a single-player game with your buddy.
Chase had to just shed the memory of that off of his body for a second.
I molted the memory. I molted my snake skin of Wind Waker and had to re-enter the world.
You really did. It was impressive. It was impressive self-preservation.
Thank you. You can play things like The Last of Us, which is an incredible video game. Maybe not right now. Maybe in 6 months or so when things are a little bit brighter.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah, right, fuck. Last of Us was a good one that we did.
Could do God of War. It's a good single
God of
player.
War. Mallory wants me to replay through Red Dead Redemption 2 because she never got to watch it. Yep. That's definitely a good one to couch co-op. So long as you just do like the story missions.
Yeah, no, you can't be fucking around outside.
Yeah, no one wants to watch you just hunt for like 2 hours.
Is there a different word for this instead of co-op? Is it a bro-op?
Ooh, I like that.
It's gender normative.
Yeah, I have female bros.
It's true, but I can't think of a better rhyming play on couch co-op.
I think it's bro-op.
Okay.
One bro plays, the other bro watches.
Male,
Sometimes you
female,
switch
or
off.
gender non-conforming.
There you go.
Can all be bros.
We can all be bros. Uncharted. That's a
Uncharted.
great one.
Yeah. Oh my God. Great.
Fantastic
Great. You and I have played through
one.
that one before. Yeah. Great couch bro.
Oh my God. Uncharted 2. My goodness. What a masterpiece. What other good bro ops are there? Any of like the Quantic Dream games?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for
like
sure.
Heavy Rain. I never played Detroit.
Yep. Indigo Prophecy.
Indigo Prophecy. That game with Rami Malek in it.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. That's a great couch bro op.
It's a great bro op. Because there's just decisions on decisions where everybody can chime in for what they want to do.
It's very stressful and fun too. There's very little like gameplay that is boring.
Yeah. And there's just not a whole lot of gameplay in general.
Yeah.
But it is a fun experience, if that makes sense. Yeah. What's the most disrespectful thing you can do during a bro op game?
I would assume going up on a cliff and then just jumping off numerous times over and over and over again. And pretending that you don't know how to do it.
So you think I did all of that on purpose?
I think you did one of them not on purpose. I think you went up a couple times and you're like, I'm going to tee this little bastard up. I'm going to jump right off this cliff and see how he do.
I might have done one of them on purpose. Just because it was funny. All the others,
so
though,
many more. There's got to be so many more.
All the others, though, were legitimate. Just me not vibing with the controls whatsoever.
You are a core gamer. I know you know how to control a video game. That is not a problem you have.
Zelda games, just the old type of Zelda games where you just have like, there's that little sliver of control that they don't give me that I just can't get over. You know?
And so I'm protesting the game the whole time.
There's that one little bit that they don't give me that I just can't remedy it. There's just something in my brain that just doesn't work that way.
Yep.
I don't know what it is or how to describe it, but it's just something in my brain says no.
Something says you got to jump off that cliff, baby.
I don't know how else to explain it.
Well, that's fine, because we have a great list for our listeners to go dive through. Play a few couch co-op games with your friend, your partner, your buddy, your quarantine buddy.
Get through this together.
Get through it together.
Good for you.
Or preferably not together unless you're living with somebody or you have your buddy.
Or you could just be a fucking psychopath and play Mario Party the whole time and just tear each other apart.
Yeah, that'll end a relationship. Mm-hmm. Which, I guess if that's what you're going for, it's a pretty shitty way to do it, but it is a way to do it.
Yeah, if you're looking to get out of something,
Mario Party will do it.
Probably the best way. So,
we got a few more listeners over the last week. I annoyed Instagram.
You did to, I think, good effect. I think.
Yeah, I got a handful of people who subbed in there. So welcome everybody. Still collecting different countries that are getting up on the Podtimism train. So thanks for joining us.
Who else we got now? We had someone from Madrid. So if you're in quarantine listening to this, fucking shout out.
Yeah, shouts out, man. That sounds rough.
Yeah.
Let's see. So either all of these people are using VPNs, or there's some folks in Brazil, or the Netherlands, or Australia, or Germany, Italy, Spain, and Canada. So if any of those are you, welcome to the Podtimism vibe. Yeah, so thanks anybody who's new and anybody who's returning. Again, we do have some places you can get in touch with us if you want to. I got an email at VGPodtimism@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter @Podtimism. on Twitter.
Whoa.
Just at Podtimism.
We're the first ones to do it.
First ones to make that. Get at us. Twitter's been a little bit more slow going, so get up in there, talk to us, chat. Tell us about your podtimistic thing. Or DM us and tell us about your podtimistic things.
Yeah. What fills you with love for video games?
Yeah, I want to hear it. We want to hear it. Also, if you haven't yet reviewed the show, which the vast majority of you have not, which is okay. It's okay.
Looking at you, Garen.
Looking at you, Garen, who definitely didn't review. That's our one Garen shout out of the week. Hello. Why don't you give us a written review? It would help us out a lot to get the Podtimism word out to more folks in these trying times. Please, I'm begging you, review the goddamn show.
Whoa. They got intense there for a second, Chase.
Do you have any gaming wisdom?
In these dark times, if you're just going at it on your own, it's not going to work, right? You need somebody else there with you. You need someone else to shine a light on the darkness, so that then you can then riddle what is underneath with shotgun shells,
with bullets.
So find your quarantine buddy, find your coronavirus COVID buddy, and let them help you pierce through the darkness, so that your goodwill can then penetrate the pandemic.
Those are the bullets.
Those
are
the
goodwill
bullets.
bullets.
Goodwill bullets only.
And maybe if you haven't found that person yet, don't go physically find them. Go on the internet. Talk to them on the internet.
Go on the internet.
Because going to see a new person right now,
not a good call.
Not the best idea.
Not a good call.
Not really even an okay idea. Kind of a bad one. But
Zoom is great.
Zoom is great.
Zoom works real good.
GChat, Skype, Friendster, MySpace,
FaceTime, MySpace,
Tumblr.
No one uses MySpace.
Email.
Whoa.
Discord.
Wow. Message me on PSN, baby.
Hit me up on Xbox Live. Shoot me your friend code.
Only real ones know.
PlayStation 2 had an online service. I don't think it was particularly robust.
It was bad. You had to buy something separate to make it actually even work, and then it was just no bueno.
It's no bueno.
No bueno.
So find your friend, your buddy, or we can be your buddies at Podtimism on Twitter. Be our buddies.
There you go. If you follow us on Twitter, we will tweet something nice to you. That's
a true fact.
We will be the opposite of what Twitter normally is.
Yeah,
instead of spewing hatred, we will spew joy and love.
There is a small circle. There's a small separate area on Twitter where it's good chill vibes only.
Kingdom Hearts.
It's Kingdom
Heart of a world surrounded by darkness.
Really took me off guard there.
That's what it felt like, though. Just like a little core of light, of joy, surrounded by evil and darkness.
Well, call me Ansem. Let's open up Kingdom Hearts.
Call me Ansem. Shit.
All right, see you next week.
All right, see ya.